Thanks, everybody. Please be seated. And Attorney Raymond, the next witness, please.
It's going to call Curtis Van Pelt to the stand.
Sir, if you believe you can do so responsibly and safely, removing your mask would be appreciated at this point.
All right.
Thank you very much. Go right ahead.
Sure.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
Yeah, my name is Curtis Van Pelt, C-U-R-T-I-S, V-A-N space capital P-E-L-T.
How are you employed?
I'm a facility manager for Dismembered, Inc.
Did you know a person by the name of Krista Halderson?
Yes, I did.
How did you know Krista?
Krista was one of my direct reports. She was our customer service representative. We had her under my employment for a little over 2 years.
Okay. Could you just very briefly, in a sentence or two, tell me about what Krista was like at work?
Krista was a very kind, warm customer service representative. She had a genuine concern for all of our customers on the phone and in person, treated everyone with empathy, and I had many compliments from the general public. Anyone who dealt with her went out of their way to tell me how great she was.
First exhibit is Exhibit 30. Could you please look at Exhibit 30 and identify it?
Yeah, this is the time punches submitted by Krista in our management system.
And where is the physical location of your office where Krista worked?
My office is in the front. It's a glassed 3-panel cubicle. It is about 12 to 15 feet from the main office where Krista and the estimators resided.
Sorry, I asked a poor question. What is the address as in the street address?
Street address is 1707 North Stoughton Road
In Madison?
in Madison.
And does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of her time in, time out sheet?
Yes, I gave that copy to the detectives that were there.
Okay. I would move Exhibit 30 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
It is received.
And I assume you do not have work times for all your employees memorized.
No, I don't. That's why we have the computer.
So I'm going to give this Exhibit 30 to you. Can you tell me what hours Krista worked on July 1st, 2021?
So Krista punched in at 7:41 a.m. on July 1st. You just want me to tell you when she worked too?
She took a lunch, I assume?
She took a lunch break, 1:13 p.m. to 1:39 p.m. And then she did clock out at 4:58 p.m.
And speaking of the lunch break, was there any locations that people would go to get food during the lunch hour that you're aware of near your work?
Well, there's many places because East Town is around the corner from us. There's a Quick Trip right next door, so some folks go and get sandwiches and heat them up in our break room. So there's a multitude of places nearby that someone could go eat off-site.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 541. Could you please identify what Exhibit 541 is?
Yes, this was all of Krista's time off requests from January 1st of 2020 through December 31st, 2021.
Did Krista Halderson request to be off on July 2nd of 2021?
No, she did not.
Did she show up to work that day?
No, she did not.
Was that unusual for Mrs. Halderson?
Extremely unusual. Krista was very conscientious and would text me usually a couple hours ahead of any start time to let me know she would be late or not in that day.
And did Mrs. Halderson ask off for July 5th of 2021?
No, she did not. I had that day off.
You
And
had that day off.
part of our process in our front office is that only one of us can have a day off. We can't have two people taking the same days off. So Dan Kroninger took Friday, July 2nd off. I took Monday, July 5th off. And that would exclude anyone else from taking time off in the front office.
Did Krista show up for work, if you know, on July 5th, 2021?
No, she did not. It was my day off. I was concerned that she hadn't shown up on the Friday before. I went into work to see if she had come to work and if anyone had heard from her, even though it was my day off.
But again, no call, no show that day?
No call, no show. I texted her a little before 9 o'clock when it was apparent that she hadn't shown up. That text was never delivered.
And did Mrs. Halderson have any time in July of 2021 requested off?
Yes, she did, near the end of the month. Yep. Page 5 on the bottom of this document, she submitted time off for July 27th and July 28th.
Is there any rules at your work about how far in advance you have to ask for days off?
No, it's encouraged that employees ask as soon as possible, if that as far in advance as they know. I usually submit my stuff in January for the upcoming year, which might be July or August. It's first come, first serve, so that the sooner you get it in, you've locked in that week or the block of days you want off, and then it's precluded from someone else, having a conflict and trying to take the same time off.
I would move Exhibit 541 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
Do you know what vehicle Krista Halderson drove to and from work on July 1st, 2021?
She drives drove the Volvo, the gray Volvo station wagon.
Right, no further questions.
Cross-examination, please.
Briefly, yes. Mr. Van Pelt, it sounds like you're essentially, or were essentially, Ms. Halderson's supervisor. Is that fair?
Correct?
As her supervisor, or maybe just in general, would you consider yourself close to Ms. Halderson?
She was a great employee, and I considered her a friend.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good remainder of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
State calls Daniel Crowinger to the stand. Go right up to Randy there.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
One moment, can we approach, Judge?
No,
Sure.
it's fine. I know who it is. It's fine.
Okay. Sir, if you are able to safely and responsibly testify without your mask, it would be appreciated if you could. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And I apologize. I think I said we were going to call Daniel Kroninger, but it's John Polnett. That we've actually called. My victim witness person was right. So,
Okay.
so I apologize. Sir, could you please state your name and spell both your first and last for the record?
John Painelt, John, and then Poehnelt.
How are you employed?
I'm the store leader at Quick Trip,
Which Quick Trip?
store 955 over on 1625 North Stoughton.
And earlier in this summer, did you provide some footage from your store to the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Yes,
We showed you a piece of this footage in the past, is that fair to say?
yes,
And that was true and accurate footage, the footage you provided to Dane County Sheriff's Office?
yes, it was.
At this time, I would move Exhibit 31, the Quick Trip video, into evidence.
Any objection? Thank you. It may be received, and it may be published.
And the first clip we're going to play is camera 22. And I believe that's the camera over the north door. Is that correct, sir?
The camera from the north side doors?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay. And we are going to play from 1 minute and 17 seconds. And we're just going to play a couple seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to play 1:17 p.m. Until 1:18 p.m. Okay. Thank you. And sir, just one further question. Is there a Zimbrick dealership near your Quick Trip store?
Yes, about 200 yards away.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused and released.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good rest of your day.
Actually, Your Honor, can I ask one more question? I apologize.
Sure.
Is the time and date on this video is July 1st of 2021?
Yes,
And the time is it was 1:17 p.m. and went into 1:18 p.m.
that's correct.
And is the time on the video accurate to time in real life?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any
Sorry about
follow-up
that.
to that?
No, thank you.
Thank you again, sir. Have a good remainder of your day.
right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sir, if you are willing and able to safely and responsibly testify without your mask, that would be our preference.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
Yes, Daniel Joseph Kroninger, Daniel Kroninger.
How are you employed?
Currently, I am an electrician apprentice.
Oh, I'm sorry. How are you employed in July of 2021?
Oh, at that time, I was a body shop estimator at a Zimbrick Body Shop European.
And is that the location on Stoughton Road?
Yes,
In
that's
Madison, Dane County, Wisconsin?
Yes,
Did you know a coworker by the name of Krista Halderson?
yes, I did.
Can you describe what was your relationship with Krista?
She was our customer service rep, so we worked together. I think I started there in September of 2019.
Okay. And did you become friends with Krista Halderson?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever go to her home?
Yes,
Did you meet her husband?
yes.
Okay. Sometime, did you find out on July 2nd of 2021 that Krista no-called and no-showed into work?
Yes, that's correct.
How did you find that out?
I had the day off from work. We were supposed to close on a house, and I received a text from a couple coworkers asking if I'd heard from her.
Had you heard from her?
I had not.
Did she ever discuss with you in the last week of June, that first day in July, any plans to go to her cabin?
No.
What did you do in response to learning that Krista no-called, no-showed?
Initially, we were just my girlfriend and I were taking care of some stuff around the house. I received a second text, I think around 2:30 or so, of another coworker asking if I had heard from her. So around 4:35, 4:40 or so, we drove over to their house to see if I could get a hold of anyone.
What caused you to drive over to her house?
Just because it was weird for her to not show up to work, and I was living just a couple miles away at the time.
Okay. Did you in fact go to her house?
Yes,
And just so we're clear, that's the house on Oak Springs Circle in Windsor, Wisconsin?
correct.
What'd you do once you got there?
Initially knocked on the door, no response, so I peered through the front door window, like the side light. I saw what appeared to be a table on its side. No response, then we went to the garage door, checked to see if the vehicles were there, which they were. And then at that point, Chandler came to the door.
Okay. And did you go into the house, talk outside, or something else?
We talked outside of the side garage door.
Okay. And just to be clear, I'm going to show you what has been marked and received as Exhibit 7. Is this the side garage door that you're discussing?
Yes, that's correct.
And I will just throw Exhibit 7 on the overhead here. So tell me about your conversation with Chandler. What did he say?
When we arrived, it appeared he had just gotten out of the shower. I confirmed with him that his parents were not there. And then he had given us a story about how they had gone up north in an emergency to the cabin and went with a couple that he was not sure who they were. Just know that they were picked up early that day and would be gone for a couple of days.
Okay. Did he tell you what time his parents had left?
I know he had said that it was probably right, he had not been waken up yet, so it was something early. He heard them leaving, is what he told me.
And other than Chandler just getting out of the shower, was there anything else unusual about his appearance?
He had a bandage on his large toe. Not sure which side it was, but he had a bandage on one of his toes.
Did he say anything about his foot?
He said that he had broken the glass around the fireplace while playing with the dogs.
Okay. Did he describe his injury at all?
He just said there was blood everywhere.
After you spoke with Chandler, were you satisfied enough that you left the house?
Yes, I gave him, or we exchanged phone numbers so we could text and keep in contact. And I said to let him, or for him to let me know if he had heard anything from them. And then at that point, we felt the story made sense, so we left.
Okay. And I am going to show you what has been marked as exhibits 32 through 34. As a group, how would you identify exhibits or describe exhibits 32 through 34?
Let's see. So the initial 32 is when I gave my number to him. I texted him saying that it's me. Then followed up on Sunday. I had gotten a call from him that Sunday, which was the 4th. It was at a event down in South Beloit.
Okay.
Sorry.
How would you describe them as a group just generally,
Oh.
without going into detail as to what they are?
Sorry. Let's see. So just following up, trying to figure out when they're expected to be back.
Are these photographs of text messages between you and Mr.
Yes.
Halderson?
Yes, sorry. Yes, they're pictures of my phone.
And do
Yes.
they appear to be true and accurate depictions?
Yes.
At this time, I would move exhibits 32 through 34 into evidence.
Any objection?
May we approach?
Sure.
I'm going to publish, but only a little bit at a time. So exhibit 32, the first text there says this is Dan. So that was you just giving your number,
Correct.
Chandler? Okay. And what's the next time during this week that you interact with Chandler Halderson?
Let's see, so that would have been Friday, I believe.
Would you like to look at exhibit 32 to refresh your memory?
I believe we spoke that Saturday. Just trying to see if there was any update.
And was there any update to your best of your knowledge?
I believe what was told is that they, you can't get a hold of them up north when there is cloud cover, so they're not able to receive or send texts if the weather is not clear.
Okay, and I'm just giving you exhibit 32 to help refresh your recollection. After maybe a phone call on Saturday, when's the next time you had any interaction with Chandler Halderson?
He called me Sunday afternoon when we were at the racetrack in Beloit, or South
And what
Beloit.
was the nature of the call, or why did he call you?
He wanted to see what we were doing, said he was bored and wanted to hang out.
Okay. Did you guys make plans?
Yeah, I told him that we were going to be at the racetrack, and when we got back, we would let him know. And we were going to be out in the street with some of the other neighbors and doing 4th of July things.
I'm going to ask that you move your mic just
Sorry.
a little bit closer. Had you hung out with Chandler Halderson in the past?
Not just him, with his parents and him, but not just him himself.
Okay, but it wasn't unusual for you guys to get together
No,
with the families?
no.
And I think the judge is gonna ask everybody but the jury to remove their masks for a few seconds. Do you see the person that you know as Chandler Halderson in the courtroom today?
If everyone that's not in the jury could remove their masks so that the witness is able to see everyone's face fully and determine whether he recognizes the defendant, please replace your masks at this time.
Yes.
Could you describe where he is seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
Looks like a light purple, and it's third to the right.
As the record reflect, the witness has identified the defendant.
It shall.
So does Mr. Halderson come over to your house on July 4th?
Yes, I believe shortly after 8:30.
Does he come alone? Does he bring someone or something else?
He brings his girlfriend, Kat, which we were aware that she was coming.
And what did you guys do?
We did some fireworks in the street, and I believe she had a drink. My girlfriend and I had a couple of drinks and just kind of hung out in the driveway.
To your knowledge, did anyone have any burn injuries from the interactions on July 4th?
Not that I'm aware of.
When's the next time that you interact with Chandler Halderson?
Let's see.
And I'm going to actually give you 33 and 34 as well.
Yep. So it looks like that would have been. It looks like it would have been Monday. What would that have been? Monday the 5th?
Okay. And what was the nature of that interaction?
He was just saying that his family was going to be another day late and to ask if I could request another day off for her.
Okay. And did you, in fact, communicate with your work?
Yeah, I told my boss, Curtis.
Okay. When, any other interaction with Chandler that day?
I don't believe so, no.
On Tuesday, July 6th, did you have any communication with Chandler?
Yes, I was following up with him because she was supposed to have a doctor's appointment that day that she was really looking forward to, and was expecting them to be back for sure for that event. So it looks like I texted 9:23 that morning to have Krista call us as soon as they get back into town.
And of course, you didn't get a call from Krista.
Correct.
Describe your next interaction with Chandler.
So then I texted again Wednesday, asking if they were back in town. Said that Krista was going to lose her job if she doesn't call in since it was a no-call, no-show.
And what, if any, response did he give you?
I said he's going to file a missing persons report if she misses her appointment. Okay, so I guess that was Tuesday then.
At this point, how worried are you on the spectrum for Krista?
I was getting pretty worried because I knew I had texted her before when she was at her cabin, so I knew that story seemed about fishy. And it was also really rare for her to not be excited about an event like that and to be telling everyone. So we expected, if they were planning to be off, that she would have let us know, she would have let my boss Curtis know well in advance. And it certainly wouldn't be like her to miss a doctor's appointment that she had been looking forward to.
And just to clarify, because those are screenshots.
Yes.
It does say, I believe, the July 2nd message on Exhibit 32 says the date.
Yeah,
Or at least it says Friday.
Friday, yep.
Okay, which would have been the 2nd.
Yep,
And then
Sunday.
Sunday, it has the date, and then it says, and then the next message is labeled yesterday.
So that would have been, I believe these photos were taken on Wednesday.
Okay, so yesterday would have been Tuesday the 6th.
Correct.
And today would be Wednesday the 7th.
Correct.
I just want to go through the messages with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm publishing Exhibit 32. So the first one is, this is Dan.
Correct.
Next message is Sunday, that would be July 4th, 7:33 p.m. Want to come over around 8:30. Is that you speaking?
That is me, yes.
And then, sounds good to me. Am I able to bring Pat, my girlfriend? And you respond, sure.
Yes.
All right. Then yesterday, which you said would be July 6th of 2021. They're late. Are you able to get her another day? What time is that message? It looks like that message was sent at 5:38 in the morning.
Correct.
Then yesterday, which was again the 6th, it looks like you respond, I'll tell Curtis.
Correct. Yep, that's when I got to work.
And again, as you said, you then also asked that Krista call you as soon as she gets in.
Correct. That was after I spoke to Curtis.
Then moving on to Exhibit 33. And that says today, so that'd be Wednesday.
Correct.
You say, are your parents back in town? Krista's gonna lose her job if she doesn't call.
Correct.
And Chandler responds, I'm gonna file a missing persons report if she misses her cancer appointment. Then you respond, I'm trying to get a hold of Hildy. Who's Hildy?
Mike Hilgendorf is a family friend of theirs.
I'm gonna try to get a hold of Hildy. Do you know who they went to the cottage with? Have you talked to Mitchell? Has he heard anything? And Chandler responds, he hasn't. I called him last night. I don't know who they went with. And you respond, okay, I'll let you know if I hear from Hildy.
Correct.
She called me too earlier. I don't know if she knows. And you respond, who called you? Jane? Question mark. And would that be Jane Hilgendorf?
Yes, Mike's wife. Yes.
And Chandler responds, yes. So I'll go over to their friends' houses today and check. And that's Exhibit 34. And you respond, okay. Sounds like Hildy is gonna go swing by the cabin. He's 2 hours from there. And Chandler responds, yep, I got them the address and all. And you respond, okay, sounds good. Keep me posted. I'll do the same. And he responds, if she turns up to work, let me know too. And you respond, will do. Nothing yet. But did you call the police up there? And Chandler responded, no, I'm filing a police report here so they can contact all the hospitals and jails. Did I accurately read those messages from Exhibits 32 through 34?
I didn't see the very bottom, wasn't on the screen of the last one.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, correct.
Dan, what was Chandler's demeanor or affect like when you discussed his missing parents?
At the time, he didn't seem very concerned. Just they were up north and everything seemed like it was fine to him, was my understanding.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Sir, in response to that last question about his demeanor, are you talking about or remembering talking to him in the driveway of the home? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Oh, the only thing that seemed off at that time was when he said there was a lot of blood, or there was blood everywhere. It was I felt kind of like he was looking through me, kind of like a glassy look. But other than that, everything seemed normal as far as how I knew Chandler.
When the district attorney just asked you to recall Chandler's demeanor when he was talking to you, you were remembering that moment in the driveway, correct?
That driveway and in general, yeah. Everything seemed like, they were just up north until she started to miss more days of work, and then it seemed like there was more concern.
Now, the person referenced as Hildy,
Yes.
that's Hilgendorf.
Mike
correct?
Hilgendorf, yes.
Is that someone you know through the Haldersons, or did you know the Hilgendorfs before you knew the Haldersons?
I worked with the Hilgendorfs or with Mike anyway. He worked at the Volkswagen news store. So I met him initially through Krista, but we had been at a few events together.
And at that time, you didn't have his contact information?
Correct. I emailed him through our work system.
No other questions, thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena.
Well, he's excused. I
All
guess
right.
we'd reserve the right to potentially
All right.
recall him.
That means you can't discuss your testimony with anyone until you've been released on a future date. Thank you, sir, very
Understood.
much.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
State would call Zach Reed to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sir, if you can comfortably and safely testify without your mask, that would be my request. Thank you. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
Zach Reed, Z-A-C-H-R-E-E-D.
And how were you employed in July of 2021?
I'm the HVAC salesman for, then it was Landmark Heating and Cooling, now it's Alcivia Heating and Cooling.
And it's kind of an odd question, but what do you drive in the capacity of your work?
Ford Fusion,
Okay. What color?
white.
Okay. And sometime prior to July 7th, 2021, was a work order put in to get a quote for some AC,
Yes,
and specifically for the Oak Springs Circle address?
correct.
Okay, so what exactly were you supposed to do there?
They were looking for a mini split unit, which is just a form of air conditioning for a house with a boiler.
Okay. And on July 7th of 2021, did you in fact go to the Oak Springs address in Windsor, Wisconsin?
Yes,
About what time did you arrive?
I think around 11:45,
Okay. And what time was your appointment, if you remember?
noon.
Did anybody greet you right away at 11:45?
No,
Okay. At some point, did someone greet you on the property?
yes.
Tell me about that. What time did that occur?
I don't know exactly what time it was. I had knocked on the door. I was running a little ahead of schedule, knocked on the door, no answer. Went back in the car, started just doing some paperwork, and then someone pulled up. So I just waved. They waved back, kind of got my stuff, my quote stuff ready to go, got out. He was out of the car at that point. And then I introduced myself, hey, here for a mini split quote. He said, I don't know what that is, told him, form of air conditioning for house with a boiler. Then he told me that he had just reported his parents missing. They didn't come back from up north. And I was like, oh, do you want to reschedule this? And
Do you know at this point who you're talking to?
no.
Just, it seems to be the child of
Yeah, it
the
was,
missing parents.
in my mind at that point, it was just a kid who had reported his parents missing. Yep.
I don't know if you'll see that person in the courtroom. Do you think if you saw that person, you would recognize him?
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I would ask everyone who's not in the jury box to please remove their mask for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You can replace masks.
Do you recognize the person you talked to in the courtroom today? And if
I-
you don't, that's okay.
Don't know that I saw everybody.
Okay, that's fair enough. Anyway, so the person maintained that they lived at the house that you had went to on Oak Springs?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do next after the person told you that he just reported his parents missing?
Asked him if he wanted to reschedule. He said, no, it's got to get done. We started walking towards the house, and then the dog started to bark. And he kind of stopped and he said, "Oh, the dogs." And he was kind of just froze. And I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to reschedule? Got a lot of things going on." And he said, "Can we do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, not a problem." And then that was it.
How would you describe the demeanor of the person that you interacted that day in the driveway of the Oak Springs address?
Kind of just stressed, I guess. Like he was hearing me, but not really processing what was going on.
Okay. And did you notice anything else about the home that struck you as unusual or just noteworthy?
Yeah, when I was standing at the front door before all of that, I just noticed it looked like the dryer vent came out of the front of the house, and it looked like someone had tried to maybe tape it shut or close it, which in our industry could be weird depending on the type of dryer.
Okay. Did you notice anything about any of the windows in the home?
Yeah, all the windows were open.
No other questions for this witness.
Cross-examination?
Yes, thank you. The individual that you had an interaction with that day, was that your first time you had an interaction with him?
Yep.
And as far as the request to go to the home and see the unit or to talk about the unit, do you know who made that request?
I believe it was Bart.
And that individual that you spoke to was not, that individual you spoke to that day was not Bart.
Was not what?
Was not Bart, the person that made the request.
Correct, yeah.
And when you were there, we're talking about July, correct?
Yep.
Was it hot that day?
Yeah, I suppose.
And was that your first time that you had gone to that location?
Yes,
So you don't know what that location or what the house looked like up until that day?
correct.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused and released.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good remainder of your day.
Too.
State calls Pam Sidwell to the stand.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Sidwell, if you believe you can do so responsibly and safely, it would be appreciated if you would testify without a mask.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name and spell both your first and last name for the record?
Legally, it's Pamela, but I go by Pam Sidwell, Sidwell.
Ms. Sidwell, did you know a person by the name of Krista Halderson?
I did.
In what capacity did you know her?
She was my neighbor. She was a coworker for 3 years at a seasonal employer in DeForest. She was a walking buddy, and she was a very good friend.
Okay. So you live in the Oak Springs neighborhood?
Yes.
Did you know the rest of the family? Did you know Chandler Halderson and Bart Halderson?
I did.
Okay. Again, as a neighbor?
I knew Bart, pretty well. We did things, both Bart and Krista and my husband and I did things together. I knew Chandler not so well. I knew of him. I saw him come into work once in a while, and he actually did a few odd jobs for my mother.
Okay. And towards the end of July, the end of June, beginning of July, did you become aware of a growing medical concern that Krista may have had for Chandler?
Both her and Bart stopped over at our place on, I believe it was Sunday, the 27th. And they said he had fell down the steps and had a concussion. And I said, did he go to the doctor? And she said, yes.
Okay. Did Krista reach out to you any further about Chandler's concussion?
Other than it was either Monday or Tuesday of that following week, she texted me and asked me if I'd be around because she was going to be at work and Bart was going to be at the dentist on Wednesday morning. And just in case he had any issues that he could call.
And that was Wednesday, June 30th,
Right.
2021.
Yes.
And what did you answer, Krista?
I said, sure.
This has been previously marked and displayed to the jury as Exhibit 35. This is a note. I see the name Pam on the note and a phone number. Is that in fact your phone number or your phone number as it was in June of 2021?
No. My phone number is 7036.
So it's one digit off.
Right.
Okay. But otherwise that information appears accurate.
Right.
Okay. Does your husband have the number 1 or 2 digits off of yours?
No, we actually have the same house address, both cell phone numbers end in 7036, and our home number is 7036.
But Krista giving you a heads up about the 30th that Chandler was going to be by himself.
Yes,
You were kind of on call.
yes.
At any point in time on the 30th, anytime before, after, did Krista reach out to you and ask you to, hey, be available during the July 4th weekend for Chandler?
No,
Did Krista ever talk to you about plans to go to the cabin over the July 4th weekend?
no.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 36. And I'm going to turn specifically to page 3579. And the last text on there, is that the text that Krista sent you?
I don't have my reading glasses.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, would it be okay to give your telephone number to Chandler tomorrow as a backup in case of an emergency? Does that appear to be accurate, what I read?
Yes,
And does it sound right that that was sent on June 29th of 2021 at 9:26 p.m.? Is that a yes?
yes.
If Krista would have went to the cabin, would it be unlike her to not have somebody check in on Chandler considering his medical condition?
Your objection calls for speculation.
I'll rephrase. Generally speaking, if Krista had a concern or was going to be out of town, did she try to let her friends and family know?
Yes,
And that was part of habit for her.
yes.
I'm going to move Exhibit 36 into evidence, but not publish it at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
Ms. Sidwell, how did you find out that Bart and Krista were missing?
I received a few phone calls, cell phone calls, and I wasn't answering it because I didn't recognize the number. And when I did look at it, I saw there was a voicemail. It was from Deputy Nelson, I believe.
Did Chandler reach out to you at all for assistance during the July 4th weekend?
No,
At any point, did he reach out to you to tell you his parents were missing?
no.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused and released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a good remainder of your day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Where's my sheet? We could dip in.
While Ms. Reming's preparing, the state calls Detective Bill Hendrickson of the Dane County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you. Detective, if you're comfortable and believe you can do so safely and responsibly, testifying without your mask would be appreciated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Could you please state your name and spell your first and last name for the record?
So it's William A. Hendrickson, Hendrickson.
How are you employed?
I'm a detective with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been employed as a detective?
I've been with the county for 27 years. I've been a detective for 20 of those.
And before that, you were a deputy?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that you did a variety of different tasks in regard to this investigation?
Yes.
And in fact, we're probably going to hear from you multiple times, telling different parts of the story.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So at one point in the investigation, did detectives search for proof of life for Bart and Krista?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It's basically looking for the last known date or time that we know that the victims were alive and well, going about their daily routine, doing things that people would normally do in their life.
I'm going to show you some exhibits. Exhibit 37, 38, and 39. First, Exhibit 37. How would you describe Exhibit 37?
37 is a copy of financial records for Chandler Halderson and Bart Halderson from Settlers Bank in Windsor, Wisconsin.
And why would you get bank records for a missing persons case?
Trying to find out if they have been accessing their accounts, making purchases, if they're making purchases in the area or possibly somewhere else, and attempt to locate them.
And does that appear to be true and accurate records as you got them from Settlers Bank?
Yes, it does.
I would move Exhibit 37 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
They are received.
And Detective, I would ask to draw your attention to some of the last purchases or last accountings here for Bart Halderson. Were any purchases made on July 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And what were those purchases?
It was a purchase at the Quick Trip store. It says Quick Trip Madison.
And how much was that one for?
$2.62, it looks like.
Okay. And what else?
There was also one, it looks like it was some sort of a prepayment with maybe UW Health in the amount of $30.
Okay. And were there any transactions that popped up on July 2nd of 2021?
Yes, there was a purchase at Qdoba, which is the East Madison location in front of East Town Mall. And that was the only one on that day.
And you work with bank records during the course of your work as a detective.
Yes, I do.
Do purchases always pop up on bank records the day that you make them?
With some companies, they do. With other companies, it could be anywhere between 24 and 72 hours before it shows up on a bank statement.
So this was an interesting purchase because it occurred on July 2nd of 2021, or at least it appeared so from the bank record.
That's correct, yes.
So did you do any investigating to see when this purchase was actually made?
I did.
I would ask that you describe exhibits 38 and 39, please.
Okay, 38 is a photo that I took from inside the Qdoba. This would have been like a screenshot taken from video surveillance footage, which shows who I believe to be Bart and Krista Halderson on the date this purchase was made. Exhibit 39 is a copy of the receipt regarding the purchase that was made that corresponds to this video footage.
And does exhibit 38 and 39 appear to be true and accurate depictions?
They do, yes.
I would move exhibits 38 and 39 into evidence at this time.
No objection.
They are received.
And I will move to publish. I'm going to publish exhibit 39 first. Detective, the screen in front of you should hopefully. So the amount, looking at the bank records, the amount of the purchase at Qdoba that popped up for July 2nd. What was that amount?
It's $26.43.
And you were able to track that amount to this receipt. What is the date on the receipt on Exhibit 30?
The date of the receipt is June 30th, 2021 at 6:02 p.m.
June 30th.
Correct.
So it took 48 hours roughly.
Essentially, yes.
And then I'm gonna publish Exhibit 38. And is this the still from the surveillance video from the Qdoba location?
It is.
So even though that bank records show that there was activity on July 2nd, that activity actually took place on June 30th?
In this instance, in regards to Qdoba, yes.
Was there any other than what appeared to be prepayments? Some people pay their bills automatically. Were there any other purchases that were of interest?
There's a number of transactions that took place after the second at Target, and then there was, looks like some probably payroll deposits that went through before the second and then after the second. It looks like another payment, like an automatic payment to like TDS.
Okay, so some
auto
automatic things that were,
Correct.
that appeared to be.
Yes.
Did you find any evidence at all that Krista or Bart Halderson purchased anything after July 1st of 2021?
I did not.
Counsel, can I ask a clarifying question? Is Exhibit 37 the records of an account belonging to Krista and Bart? Because I thought I heard you say Chandler and Bart.
It is Krista and
All right.
Bart. I actually believe that there's more than one bank record here, and there is an account that also is Chandler and Bart.
All right, thank you.
And Madam Clerk, did I move Exhibit 37 into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
No, thank you.
At this time, may the witness be excused but not released?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Detective.
Your Honor, could we approach at this time?
Sure. Well, that's good. Folks, the state believes that we're at a good point to break for the day because the next evidentiary issues that would be brought to your attention could take us past 5 o'clock. And since this was the first day, and everybody's now, I hope, figured out how this will work and the amount of time it takes and so forth, and was probably had probably a less restful night last night than you would have were it not for knowing you'd be here today. It's a good point for us to break. I will not see you again until tomorrow at 8:45 when I would like to begin. I appreciate everything today that you did as far as your timeliness. We were delayed, which delayed you, but we're going to press to not have that occur. I remind you again, after you leave the building here, don't discuss this with anyone in your home, anyone that you meet, anyone in your circle of friends or family. Don't take any steps to research or learn of anything. Avoid the news. Although I can tell you one thing. The order that I instituted as far as media does cover only what occurs in the courtroom, so that what anybody who's watching is seeing is what you're seeing. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean you should discuss what they've seen with them or that they should try and discuss that with you, let alone you're revisiting that by searching out any of those media outlets that might be able to replay or show you what's gone on. What you need to do is leave here, leave this matter out of your mind, relax, have a good restful evening, and not allow yourself to come into contact with anything that would violate the need for you to stay only focused on what you hear and only exposed to what you hear in this room. So have a very good evening. If you can be here ready to go by 8:45, we'll be here before that and get things taken care of so that we can get a good start on tomorrow. And again, if you need to bring lunch, do. I don't know how easy it is for you to get out and get something, and I think it's getting colder, so be cautious there. Thank you very much.
We're not leaving that computer.
No. Oh, no, Amanda. Well, actually, she did tell me we could, but it's up to you.